Hi and welcome to video 1 for this module on materials and resources. Let's kick off this video by looking at reuse, specifically building reuse. As you might guess, this is simply reusing a building for something other than its original purpose. But not every building can be reused. In this video, we'll concentrate on old buildings and how it is determined if they should be reused. You may immediately be thinking, why would there be a circumstance when a building should not be reused? Isn't that always the best option? The answer is dependent on several factors. First, it depends on the condition of the existing building. It may be more cost-effective to demolish the entire structure and build something brand new. The building's structural integrity may be too costly to repair or even impossible to do effectively, so reuse of that building could be dangerous. Even the most ardent recycling cities and towns across the country don't necessarily apply the same concept to buildings. Catherine Rogers Merlino, director of the Center for Preservation and Adaptive Reuse, believes that old buildings should be sought out for reuse. Not only is she a staunch believer in the reuse of old buildings, but also the materials within them. She understands that within these buildings exist energy and materials that make them well suited to become greener. There are several examples of buildings that have been reused in some way throughout Seattle and the Pacific Northwest. First is the Kohlstrand building. It was a hardware store for nearly a century. When the project first began, the planners and developers thought that they were dealing with a single structure. Upon closer investigation, they discovered a series of buildings. The buildings were so structurally sound that architects and other experts were able to extract machinery, fire doors, and other high-quality industrial pieces for reuse. An incredible example of a building transformation focused on energy efficiency is the Westside School. In the 1970s, the Westside School was Hillcrest Presbyterian Church. A combination of the church losing a lot of its congregation and a nearby school about to lose its lease led to the revamping of the church into what is now the Westside School. New systems and integrated technology have allowed the building to be transformed not only in usage, but in energy efficiency. It uses over 70% less energy than it had previously. In fact, the High Performing Buildings Report had this to say about its transformation. Westside School is now the most energy efficient school in the Northwest region, created with an extremely small HVAC budget by concentrating on introducing energy efficiency where it would count the most. The report from the facilities manager is that this is the best system he has used in his 30 years at Seattle area schools. The report from the staff and the students is that they love their new building. Reuse does not always mean using an entire structure. As you will discover throughout the module, materials matter. There are many materials that were used in the construction of old houses and buildings that are no longer used because of price and unavailability. So when these materials are found, it's like finding a gold mine.